The warning lights flashed red across the bridge of the Horizon Dawn as Captain Nathan Rivers leaned forward in his chair, his eyes fixed on the screen showing a weak signal pulsing from deep space. The signal was faint, barely readable, but it was definitely there. "How far into their territory is that signal coming from?" Nathan asked, running a hand through his dark hair. Lisa Morgan, the ship's doctor, checked her console and looked up with worried eyes. "About 40 miles past the border. It's coming from Valkoran space." The bridge went quiet. Everyone knew what that meant. The Valkoran Empire was not friendly to outsiders. Their ships were powerful, their warriors fierce, and their laws strict. They had made it clear that human ships were not welcome in their space. "Can you tell what kind of ship it is?" Nathan asked. Kevin Barnes, their security officer, worked his controls and shook his head. "The signal is too weak. But whatever it is, it's not moving. The ship is just drifting out there." Nathan stood up and walked closer to the main screen. The Horizon Dawn was a rescue vessel built for one purpose only. They saved people. It did not matter what species they were or where they came from. If someone needed help, the crew of the Horizon Dawn answered the call. But this was different. This was Valkoran space. If they crossed that border, it could be seen as an act of war. "Captain, we should call for backup," Kevin said carefully. "If we go in there alone and something happens, no one will know." Sophie Mitchell, their engineer, spoke up from her station. "The signal is getting weaker. If that ship has people on board, they might not have much time." Nathan looked around at his crew. They were good people, all of them. They had joined the rescue service because they believed in helping others.
But he could see the fear in their eyes.
The Valkorans had destroyed human ships before for less than crossing their borders. "What do you all think?" Nathan asked. "Should we go?" Lisa stood up from her seat. "We took an oath when we joined the rescue service. We promised to help anyone in distress, no matter the risk. I vote we go." Sophie nodded. "I agree." "We cannot just leave people to die out there." Kevin was quiet for a moment. Then he sighed. "You are right. Let us go help them." Nathan felt pride swell in his chest. His crew was brave and good. "All right then. Sophie, prepare the ship. Lisa, get the medical bay ready. Kevin, keep all sensors on maximum. If any Valkoran patrol ships show up, I want to know immediately." The Horizon Dawn changed course and headed toward the border. As they crossed into Valkoran space, Nathan felt his heart beating faster. They were breaking interstellar law now. But saving lives was more important than rules. It took them 20 minutes to reach the damaged ship. When they got close enough to see it clearly, Lisa gasped. "That's a royal transport vessel. Look at those markings." She was right. The ship had gold and silver designs painted on its hull, marks that only Valkoran royalty used. The vessel was badly damaged. Large holes were torn in its side, and it was leaking atmosphere into space. "Is anyone still alive in there?" Nathan asked. Kevin studied his readings. "I am detecting 2 life signs. They are weak but stable. There are also several bodies. Looks like most of the crew did not make it." Nathan's jaw tightened. "Prepare the boarding team, Lisa. Bring your medical equipment. Sophie, you come too in case we need to help with their ship systems. Kevin, you have the bridge." "Sir, you should not go over there yourself," Kevin protested. "If something happens to you, I am not sending my people into danger while I sit safely here," Nathan said firmly. "Besides, if there are Valkoran royals over there, they will want to speak with the person in charge." 10 minutes later, Nathan, Lisa, and Sophie were floating through the airlock into the damaged Valkoran ship. The inside was dark except for emergency lights flickering weakly. The air was thin and cold. Bodies of Valkoran guards floated in the corridors, their armor torn and burned. "This was an attack," Sophie whispered, looking at the damage. "Someone ambushed them." They made their way toward the life signs, moving carefully through the wrecked corridors. Finally, they reached what looked like a command room. 2 Valkorans were inside, both wearing rich clothing beneath damaged armor. One was older, maybe in his 30s, by human standards. The other looked younger, perhaps early 20s. Both were injured. The older one had a deep wound on his shoulder, while the younger one had burns across his arm and side. When they saw the humans, both Valkorans reached for weapons that were no longer there. The older one spoke in a harsh, grating language that the translator devices took a moment to process. "Stay back. We are princes of the Valkoran Empire. If you harm us, our mother will destroy your entire species." Lisa held up her hands, showing she had no weapons. "We are not here to hurt you. We received your distress signal. We came to help." The younger prince looked confused. "Help? You are humans. Why would you help us? Nathan stepped forward slowly. Because you needed help. We are a rescue ship. We save people. That is what we do. The older prince, clearly in pain, tried to sit up straighter. You crossed into Valkyr in space. That is an act of war. Our fleet will come for you. Maybe so, Nathan said calmly. But right now, you are bleeding and your ship is falling apart. Let us help you, then we can worry about the rest later. Sophie was already checking the ship's systems. Captain, this ship is not going anywhere. Life support will fail completely in about 3 hours. Lisa moved toward the younger prince with her medical scanner. Please, let me look at your injuries. The young prince looked at his older brother, who stared at the humans with suspicious eyes. Finally, the older prince gave a small nod. Very well, but know this, humans. If this is some trick, if you try to use us as hostages, you will regret it. Nathan smiled slightly. No tricks, no hostages, just help. That is all we offer. As Lisa began treating the younger prince's burns, the Valkoran looked up at her with wonder in his eyes. I do not understand. We are enemies. Our people have fought before. Why would you risk yourselves for us? Lisa looked at him kindly as she worked. Because everyone deserves to be saved, even enemies. The medical bay of the Horizon Dawn was much quieter than the damaged Valkoran ship. Prince Kethrin, the older prince, sat stiffly on one of the beds while Lisa cleaned and bandaged his shoulder wound. His yellow eyes watched her every move with deep suspicion. This medicine you use, it will not poison me? He asked for the third time. Lisa looked up at him patiently. No, Your Highness. I scanned your biology first. This medicine is safe for your species. It will help stop the infection and reduce the pain. Across the room, Prince Valaris, the younger brother, seemed less worried. He watched with fascination as Sophie Mitchell explained the human medical equipment to him. This machine can see inside your body without cutting you open, Sophie said, pointing to the scanner. It helps us know exactly where you are hurt. Valaris touched the machine carefully. We have similar technology, but ours is much larger. How did you make it so small? Lots of practice and good engineers, Sophie said with a smile. We need equipment that can fit on rescue ships, so we learned to make everything compact. On the bridge, Nathan stood with Kevin Barnes, watching the damaged Valkoran ship through the view screen. Sophie had managed to stabilize its life support remotely, but the ship was still badly hurt. Any sign of other Valkyran vessels? Nathan asked. Kevin shook his head. Nothing yet, but they will come. A royal transport does not just disappear without someone noticing. I know, Nathan said quietly. We need to be ready to explain ourselves quickly when they arrive. Back in the medical bay, Prince Kethrin had finished his treatment. He stood up, testing his shoulder carefully. The pain was much less now, though his expression remained cold and distant. Where are your weapons? He asked suddenly.
Lisa looked confused. Weapons?
We do not have weapons. This is a rescue ship, not a military vessel. Catherine's eyes widened slightly. No weapons at all? How do you defend yourselves? We usually do not need to, Lisa explained. Most species do not attack rescue ships. It is against the basic laws of space travel. Then you are fools, Catherine said harshly. Space is dangerous. The galaxy is full of pirates, raiders, and hostile empires. A ship without weapons is a ship waiting to die. Valaris spoke up from across the room. Brother, they saved our lives. Perhaps their way is different from ours, but it works for them. Kethran turned to his younger brother. Their way is naive. They survived today by luck, nothing more. Nathan entered the medical bay at that moment, carrying 2 containers of food. I thought you might be hungry. Our food might taste different from what you are used to, but I promise it is safe to eat. He handed 1 container to each prince. Valaris opened his immediately and sniffed the contents. His face showed surprise. This smells good. What is it? Vegetable stew with protein bread, Nathan said. Our chef made it fresh this morning. Valaris took a careful bite, then his eyes lit up. Brother, you should try this. It is very good. Kethron opened his container more slowly, still watching Nathan with suspicious eyes. He took a small bite and chewed carefully. Despite himself, he nodded slightly. The food was indeed good. Why do you treat us so well? Kethron asked. We are not your friends. Our empire has killed human explorers before when they entered our space without permission. Nathan sat down on a nearby chair. I know. But you needed help, and we could provide it. That is enough reason for us, but you gain nothing from this, Kethron insisted. In fact, you risk everything. When our fleet arrives, they might destroy your ship for being here illegally. Yet you came anyway. Why? Nathan thought for a moment before answering. In human culture, we believe that all intelligent life has value. We believe that if someone needs help and we can give it, we have a responsibility to try. It does not matter if they are human or alien, friend or enemy. A life in danger is a life worth saving. Valaris leaned forward, his food forgotten. That is beautiful. In Valkoran culture, we are taught that only the strong deserve to survive. If someone is weak enough to need rescue, perhaps they do not deserve to live. That is a harsh way to see the world, Lisa said gently. It is our way, Catherine said. It has kept our empire strong for thousands of years. Sophie entered the medical bay, wiping oil from her hands. Captain, I have good news and bad news. The good news is I managed to patch the worst holes in their ship. The bad news is the main engine is completely destroyed. That ship will not be flying anywhere without a major repair facility. Can we tow it? Nathan asked. We can, but it will slow us down a lot. And I do not think towing a Valkoran royal ship deeper into their space is a good idea. Kevin's voice came over the intercom, urgent and worried. Captain, we have multiple ships approaching fast. They are Valkoran military vessels, and they are powering up their weapons. Everyone in the medical bay went still. Kethran stood up quickly despite Lisa's protest about his injuries. How many ships? 10 warships, Kevin's voice reported. They are surrounding us. Valaris looked at Nathan with fear in his eyes. You need to run. Right now, before they get into firing range. Nathan shook his head. We cannot outrun Valkoran warships, especially not while towing your ship. And even if we could, we would not leave you behind. You are insane, Kethran said, but there was a hint of respect in his voice now. Do you humans have no sense of self-preservation? We have plenty, Nathan said calmly. But we also have principles. Sophie, Kevin, Lisa, everyone stay calm. Your Highnesses, I need you to come to the bridge with me. We need to explain this situation to your people before they start shooting. As they walked to the bridge, Valaris moved closer to Nathan. Our military commander, Admiral Krethis, he is not a patient or understanding person. He will assume the worst. Then we will have to convince him otherwise, Nathan said. Kethrin looked at the human captain with new eyes. This small crew had risked everything to save 2 strangers from an enemy empire. They had no weapons to defend themselves, yet they showed no fear. Either they were the bravest people he had ever met, or the most foolish. Perhaps, he thought, they were both. On the main view screen, the Valkoran warships came into view. They were massive, covered in armor and weapons. Each one could destroy the Horizon Dawn with a single blast. Catherine took a deep breath. His next words would decide whether these strange, compassionate humans lived or died. The bridge of the Horizon Dawn felt smaller with everyone gathered there. The 10 Valkoran warships surrounded them in a perfect circle, their weapon ports glowing with ready energy. Nathan stood at the center, calm despite the danger. The 2 princes stood beside him, watching the main screen. A face appeared on the view screen. It belonged to a large Valkoran male with dark red skin and 3 scars across his face. His armor was decorated with medals and symbols of rank. His expression was full of anger. I am Admiral Krathus of the Valkoran Imperial Fleet. Human vessel, you have violated our borders and you hold our princes. Surrender immediately or be destroyed. Before Nathan could speak, Prince Kethrin stepped forward. Admiral Krathus, this is Prince Kethrin. Stand down your weapons. These humans are not our enemies. The Admiral's eyes narrowed. Your Highness, are you under duress? Blink twice if these humans are forcing you to speak. Valaris laughed, which seemed to surprise everyone, including himself. Uncle Krathus, we are not prisoners. These humans saved our lives. Saved your lives? The Admiral looked confused. Explain. Kethron straightened despite his injured shoulder. Our transport was attacked by unknown raiders. Our guards died defending us. Our ship was damaged and drifting. We sent out a distress signal, not expecting anyone to answer. These humans picked up our signal, crossed into our space knowing the danger, and rescued us. Admiral Krathus looked suspicious. Why would humans risk themselves for Valkoran royalty? This must be a trick. Perhaps they attacked you themselves and now pretend to be rescuers. That is not true, Valaris said firmly. Show him the sensor logs, Captain Nathan. Nathan nodded to Amy Chen, their communications officer. She was young with black hair tied back in a simple style. Her fingers moved quickly across her console. Admiral, I am sending you our complete sensor logs from the past 6 hours. You will see that we were on a routine patrol when we detected the distress signal. You will also see that we arrived long after the attack on the royal transport. The Admiral was quiet for a moment as he reviewed the data. His expression shifted from anger to confusion. These logs appear genuine. But still, this makes no sense. Why would a human ship risk entering our space? Daniel Hayes, the second officer, stepped forward. He was an older man with gray hair and kind eyes. "Admiral, may I explain something about human culture?" "Speak," the Admiral said curtly. "Humans have organizations dedicated entirely to rescue operations. The Horizon Dawn is part of the Interstellar Rescue Corps. We do not carry weapons. We do not engage in trade or military operations. We only save lives. It is what we do, regardless of species or political borders." "That is absurd," Admiral Crethis said. "An entire fleet of ships with no other purpose than rescue? Who pays for this? What do you gain?" Amy spoke up. "Sir, with your permission, I would like to share our mission records with the Admiral." Nathan nodded. "Do it." Amy transmitted another file. "Admiral, these are records of rescue operations performed by human ships over the past 5 years. You will see we have saved members of 43 different species. Some of those species had been hostile to humans. Some were complete strangers. We helped them all." On the view screen, Admiral Crethis' face showed genuine shock as he reviewed the files. "You saved a Thracian warship? The Thracians had just destroyed 2 of your colony ships, yet you rescued their survivors?" "Yes," Nathan said simply. "They needed it." "And here, you rescued Seldorian refugees even though their government refuses to acknowledge your species exists?" "Yes. And you pulled a Corthan mining crew from an asteroid collapse despite the fact that Corthans consider humans to be inferior life forms?" "Yes." Admiral Crethis was quiet for a long moment. His fingers moved across his own console, checking the data carefully. Finally, he looked up. "If these records are accurate, your species has saved over 12,000 non-human lives in just 5 years." "We have been doing this much longer than 5 years," Daniel said. "But yes, those numbers are correct." "This is madness," the Admiral muttered. "Your species risks ships and lives to save strangers who give you nothing in return." Prince Valaris moved to stand beside Nathan. "It was hard for me too at first, but I have seen their medical bay. I have watched their doctor treat my brother with such care and gentleness. I have eaten food they prepared for us. I have spoken with them and learned about their beliefs. These humans are genuine. They truly do value all life, not just their own." "Your Highness, you are young and naive," the Admiral said, but his voice was softer now. "Surely these humans want something. No species acts with pure altruism." Catherine, who had been silent, finally spoke. "Admiral, I thought the same thing at first. I questioned them repeatedly. I looked for hidden motives and secret plans, but there are none. These humans simply believe that saving lives is the right thing to do. They have no weapons to defend themselves. Their ship is small and fragile compared to our warships, yet they entered our space knowing they might be destroyed, all because 2 strangers needed help." The Admiral's scarred face showed an emotion that Nathan could not quite read. "In all my years serving the Empire, I have never heard of such a thing. Our culture teaches that strength is everything. We have ignored countless distress signals from weaker species, believing that those who cannot save themselves do not deserve survival." "That is a tragedy," Lisa said quietly. She had been standing at the back, but now she stepped forward. "How many lives have been lost because of that belief?" Admiral Crethis looked at her sharply. "Who are you to judge Valkoran culture, human?" "I am not judging," Lisa said calmly. "I am a doctor. I see every life as precious. The thought of ignoring someone in distress, of letting them die when help is possible, that breaks my heart. I cannot imagine living in a society that considers such things acceptable." The Admiral was silent again. Finally, he said, "You will all accompany us to the capital world. The Empress herself will decide what to do with you." Nathan felt his crew tense around him. Being taken to the Valkoran capital could be dangerous, but he kept his voice steady. "We will come peacefully. We ask only that you do not harm our ship or crew." "You are in no position to make demands," the Admiral said, but his tone lacked real threat. "However, you did save our princes. For that reason alone, you will be treated as guests rather than prisoners. For now." Kevin let out a breath he had been holding. "Captain, are we really going to the Valkoran capital?" Nathan looked at his crew. They were scared but determined. "Yes, we are, and we are going to show them that our way, the human way of caring for all life, is not weakness. It is strength." The capital world of the Valkyrian Empire was massive and beautiful. Tall buildings of silver and gold reached toward the sky. Ships of all sizes moved through the air in perfect patterns. As the Horizon Dawn descended toward the royal palace escorted by Admiral Krethis and his fleet, Nathan could see crowds of Valkorans gathering below. News of the human rescue ship had spread quickly. The palace was the largest building Nathan had ever seen. It had towers that seemed to touch the clouds and walls decorated with precious metals. Valkyran guards lined every corridor as Nathan and his senior crew were led inside. Lisa walked close to Nathan, her medical bag still strapped to her shoulder. Sophie and Amy stayed near, looking around at everything with wide eyes. Prince Kethrin and Prince Valaris walked ahead of them, their injuries now properly treated and bandaged. They had changed into fresh royal clothing, but both princes kept looking back at the humans, as if making sure they were still there. Finally, they entered a throne room so large that Nathan's footsteps echoed. At the far end, sitting on a throne of black stone and silver, was Empress Valara. She was tall and powerful-looking, with deep purple skin and eyes that seemed to see everything. Her crown was simple but elegant. Around her stood advisors and officials, all watching the humans with various expressions of curiosity and suspicion. Nathan and his crew stopped at the appropriate distance and bowed respectfully. The Empress studied them in silence for what felt like a very long time. "So," she finally said, her voice strong and clear, "these are the humans who violated our borders and took my sons?" "Mother, please," Prince Valaris started to say, but she held up one hand and he fell silent. "Captain Nathan Rivers of the Horizon Dawn," the Empress continued. "Do you deny that you entered Valkoran space without permission?" Nathan straightened and met her eyes. "No, Your Majesty, I do not deny it. We crossed your border in response to a distress signal." "And you knew this was illegal?" "Yes, Your Majesty." "I knew." An older Valkoran in rich robes stepped forward. He had white hair and cold eyes. "Your Majesty, this human admits his crime. He should be punished according to our laws." "High Chancellor Morvek speaks truly," the Empress said. "Our laws are clear. Unauthorized entry into Valkyran space is punishable by death or permanent imprisonment." Lisa stepped forward before Nathan could stop her. "Your Majesty, please. Captain Rivers only entered your space to save your sons. Would you truly punish someone for an act of mercy?" The Empress's eyes fixed on Lisa. "And who are you, human?" "I am Dr. Lisa Morgan, Your Majesty. I treated your son's injuries." "You are a healer?" The Empress seemed slightly interested now. "Yes, Your Majesty. I have spent my entire adult life learning medicine so I could help others. When I saw that your sons were hurt, I did not think about laws or borders. I only thought about saving them." High Chancellor Morvek sneered. "Pretty words, but humans are known for their deceptions. Perhaps this whole situation was planned. Perhaps they attacked the royal transport themselves and then pretended to rescue the princes to gain favor with our empire." "That is a lie," Prince Kethrin said firmly. "Chancellor, I reviewed the human ship's logs myself. They could not have faked that data. The Horizon Dawn was nowhere near us when we were attacked. Prince Valaris moved to stand beside his brother. Mother, these humans saved our lives at great risk to themselves. Their ship has no weapons. They are completely defenseless. Yet they came to help us anyway." The Empress leaned forward slightly. "Explain this to me, Captain Rivers. Why does your ship have no weapons? How do you survive in the dangerous regions of space?" Nathan took a breath. "Your Majesty, the Horizon Dawn is a rescue vessel. We are part of the Interstellar Rescue Corps."
Our entire purpose is to save lives, not take them.
"Weapons would send the wrong message to people who need our help." "So you choose to be helpless?" High Chancellor Morvek asked mockingly. "You choose to be prey for anyone who wishes to destroy you?" "We choose to trust in the basic decency that exists in most intelligent species," Nathan replied. "We believe that most beings will not attack those who come only to help." "Then you are fools," the Chancellor said. "Perhaps," Nathan admitted, "but we are alive and we have saved thousands of lives across the galaxy. If that makes us fools, then I am proud to be one." The Empress was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Dr. Morgan, come closer." Lisa approached the throne nervously. The Empress looked down at her. "You said you treated my son's injuries. Tell me, what did you think when you first saw them? Did you see valuable hostages? Did you see enemies?" Lisa shook her head. "No, Your Majesty. I saw two people who were hurt and scared. I saw patients who needed medical care. Nothing else mattered to me in that moment." "Not even that they were Valkoran?" "Not even that our people have killed humans before?" "No, Your Majesty," Lisa said softly. All I saw were 2 lives that I could save. That is what I was trained to do. That is what I promised to do when I became a doctor. The Empress sat back in her throne, her expression thoughtful. This is difficult for me to understand. In Valkoran culture, we value strength above all else. We teach our children that only the strong deserve to survive. Weakness is shameful. Needing rescue is admitting failure. Sophie stepped forward now. Your Majesty, may I speak? Who are you? I am Sophie Mitchell, Chief Engineer of the Horizon Dawn. Your Majesty, I do not think needing help is weakness. I think refusing help when you need it is weakness. True strength is knowing when you cannot do something alone and having the courage to accept assistance. High Chancellor Morvek laughed harshly. More human philosophy. Your Majesty, these outsiders are trying to corrupt our values with their soft ideas. But Prince Kethrin spoke up, his voice serious. Mother, the Chancellor is wrong. These humans are not soft. They are brave in ways we never considered. They face danger without weapons. They help strangers without expecting rewards. They crossed into enemy territory to save lives. If that is not strength, then I do not know what is. The Empress looked at her eldest son with surprise. Kethrin had always been the more traditional of her children, the one who followed Valkoran customs strictly. Hearing him defend human values was unexpected. You truly believe this? The Empress asked him. I do, Mother, Kethrin said. I nearly died out there. My brother and I would have suffocated in that damaged ship, alone in the dark. We would have died, clinging to our pride, refusing to show weakness even in our final moments. These humans gave us something more precious than life. They gave us hope. They showed us that the galaxy does not have to be cruel and cold. Valaris nodded enthusiastically. Mother, you should see their ship. It is filled with medical equipment and rescue tools. They have files showing hundreds of rescue missions. They have saved so many different species, including some that hate humans. They help everyone. The Empress stood up from her throne and walked down the steps toward the humans. Her advisors looked nervous, but she ignored them. She stopped directly in front of Nathan. Show me these files, she commanded. I want to see evidence of what my sons claim. Amy quickly stepped forward with a data device. Your Majesty, this contains complete records of our rescue operations over the past 5 years. The Empress took the device and began reviewing it. Her expression changed as she scrolled through the data. Nathan watched her face carefully, trying to read her thoughts. The throne room remained silent as Empress Valara reviewed the data. Minutes passed like hours. Nathan could hear his own heartbeat in his ears. Finally, the Empress looked up from the device, her eyes filled with an emotion he could not quite identify. This record here, she said, pointing to the screen. You saved a Thracian battlecruiser even after they had destroyed 2 of your colony ships just weeks before? Nathan nodded. Yes, Your Majesty. The Thracian ship was caught in a solar flare. Their shields failed and their engines were damaged. We pulled 300 survivors from the wreckage. And the Thracians, did they thank you? No, Your Majesty. Their captain cursed at us and said we had dishonored them by witnessing their weakness. The Empress shook her head slowly. Yet you saved them anyway. We did. She scrolled further through the data. And here you rescued Korthon miners who consider humans to be primitive and inferior? Yes, Your Majesty. The asteroid they were mining collapsed. We dubbed them out and treated their injuries. It took us 3 days? And they gave you no reward? They did not even say thank you, Sophie said quietly. But that was not why we helped them. The Empress handed the device back to Amy and walked back toward her throne. But instead of sitting, she stood beside it, looking down at her advisors and officials. High Chancellor Morvek, you said these humans are trying to corrupt our values, but I wonder, are our values worth keeping if they allow us to ignore those in need? The Chancellor looked shocked. Your Majesty, you cannot be serious. Our strength comes from our hardness, our refusal to show weakness. Does it? The Empress asked. Or does our strength come from fear? Fear of appearing weak, fear of needing others, fear of showing compassion. Prince Kethron stepped forward. Mother, when I was floating in that damaged ship, waiting to die, I realized something. Our culture taught me that needing rescue was shameful. But shame does not keep you warm when the life support is failing. Pride does not give you air to breathe. In that moment, I would have given anything for someone to care enough to help us, and these humans did. They cared about 2 strangers from a hostile empire. Valaris moved to stand beside his brother. Mother, I want to learn from these humans. I want to understand how they can be so brave and so kind at the same time. Please do not punish them for saving our lives. The Empress looked at her 2 sons for a long moment. Then she looked at the human crew standing before her. Captain Rivers, explain to me the philosophy behind your rescue operations. Why do humans believe all life is worth saving? Nathan thought carefully before answering. Your Majesty, humans were once divided into many different groups. We fought wars among ourselves for thousands of years. We killed each other over small differences in appearance, beliefs, and culture. Then we nearly destroyed our own planet and ourselves with it. In our darkest hour, we learned an important lesson. We learned that every life has value. We learned that our differences make us stronger, not weaker. We learned that helping others does not make us less, it makes us more. And you truly believe this applies to all intelligent species? The Empress asked. Yes, Your Majesty. We believe that consciousness itself is precious and rare in the universe. When we encounter other intelligent life, we see reflection of ourselves. We see beings who think and feel, who love and fear, who hope and dream. How can we not value such life? How can we not help when help is needed? The Empress was quiet for a very long time. The throne room remained silent, everyone waiting for her decision. Finally she spoke, her voice clear and strong. For 10,000 years, the Valkyran Empire has prided itself on strength. We have built the most powerful military in this sector of space. We have conquered enemies and expanded our territory. We have achieved much through force and determination. But I wonder now, what have we lost? How many lives could we have saved if we had answered distress signals instead of ignoring them? How many potential allies have we made into enemies through our coldness? High Chancellor Morvek looked alarmed. Your Majesty, surely you are not suggesting we abandon our traditional values? I am not suggesting we abandon strength, the Empress said firmly. I am suggesting we redefine it. True strength is not just the power to destroy, it is also the courage to help, the wisdom to show mercy, the confidence to be kind without fear of appearing weak. She turned back to Nathan. Captain Rivers, I have a proposal for you. The Valkyran Empire wishes to establish its own rescue service similar to your Interstellar Rescue Corps, but we do not know how to begin. We have no tradition of such work. Would you and your people be willing to help train Valkyran volunteers? Nathan felt surprise and hope bloom in his chest. Your Majesty, we would be honored to help. Prince Valaris stepped forward eagerly. Mother, I wish to be the first volunteer. I want to join the Valkyran Rescue Service. The Empress looked at her younger son with both pride and concern. Valaris, you are a prince. Such work is dangerous, which is exactly why I must do it, Valaris said. If the royal family does not embrace this new path, how can we expect our people to follow? Let me be an example, Mother. Let me show the Empire that helping others is not weakness, but strength. Catherine placed a hand on his brother's shoulder. Valaris is right, Mother. I will join as well. Together we will help build this new service. The Empress smiled, a real smile that transformed her stern face. Then it is decided. Captain Rivers, you and your crew are granted full pardons for your illegal entry into our space. More than that, you are honored guests of the Empire. We will provide your ship with repairs and supplies, and in return, you will help us learn the ways of rescue and mercy. There is one more thing, Your Majesty, Nathan said carefully. If we are to work together, we should formalize our relationship. Perhaps a mutual defense pact, trade agreements. Our two peoples could benefit greatly from cooperation. The Empress nodded thoughtfully. You are wise as well as compassionate, Captain. Yes, let us create treaties between our peoples. The Valkyran Empire and humanity shall be allies from this day forward. High Chancellor Morvek looked like he wanted to protest, but younger officials and advisors around him were nodding with enthusiasm. Change was coming to the Empire, whether the old guard liked it or not. Over the following weeks, the transformation began. The Horizon Dawn crew worked with eager Valkyran volunteers, teaching them about rescue techniques, medical treatment, and the importance of compassion. Prince Valaris proved to be an excellent student, throwing himself into the training with complete dedication. Even Prince Catherine, more reserved by nature, showed genuine commitment to learning. Nathan stood on a balcony overlooking the training grounds one evening, watching Valkyran and human teams practice rescue drills together. Lisa joined him, a tired but happy smile on her face. Can you believe this? She asked. A month ago, we were risking everything just to save two princes. Now, we are changing an entire empire. Not us, Nathan said softly. They are changing themselves. We just showed them it was possible. Below them, Prince Valaris successfully completed a rescue simulation. His human instructors cheered, and the young prince beamed with pride. Other Valkoran volunteers gathered around, eager to learn from his success. Sophie walked up to join Nathan and Lisa on the balcony. Captain, we just received a new distress signal. It is coming from a merchant ship about 2 hours from here. Engine failure, life support failing. Nathan smiled. Let us respond. And Sophie, ask if any of our Valkoran trainees want to join us. It is time they saw real rescue work. Minutes later, the Horizon Dawn launched from the Palace spaceport. Behind it flew 2 smaller Valkyran rescue ships, newly built and crewed by volunteers eager to save lives. Prince Valaris piloted one of the ships himself, his brother Kethrin beside him as co-pilot. As they flew toward the distress signal together, human and Valkoran ships side by side, Nathan felt profound hope for the future. The galaxy was full of dangers and conflicts, but it was also full of chances for understanding and cooperation. One act of compassion had opened a door between 2 species. Who knew how many more doors could be opened the same way? Amy's voice came over the communication system. Captain, the merchant ship is responding. They sound surprised that anyone came to help. Nathan smiled. Tell them help is on the way. Tell them they are not alone. And tell them this is just the beginning. The Empress watched from her palace tower as the rescue ships disappeared into the sky. Beside her stood High Chancellor Morvac, his expression still uncertain about these changes. Your Majesty, do you truly believe this new path is wise? He asked. Empress Valara turned to him, her eyes bright with determination. Chancellor, my sons nearly died because we taught them that asking for help was shameful. How many other Valkorans have died the same way over the centuries? How many lives were lost because we valued pride over survival? Yes, I believe this path is wise. It is long overdue. She looked back at the stars where the rescue ships had vanished. The humans taught us something important. They taught us that the strongest warriors are not those who never fall, but those who help others rise. That is a strength worth having. In the depths of space, the rescue teams reached the disabled merchant ship and began their work. Humans and Valkorans working together, saving lives, building bridges. It was a small moment in the vast galaxy, but it was also the beginning of something extraordinary. The beginning of a new era where compassion and courage walked hand in hand, where different species learned from each other, and where no distress signal would ever go unanswered again.